Hello, everyone, and welcome. I want to tell you that I'm Amy Brownell, and I go live here on YouTube every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, to talk about all things related to CFO and advisory services. So today we're going to talk about what it takes for you to be, 1 second here. Oh, there we go. Today, we're going to talk about what it actually takes to become a CFO advisor. So, there are lots of reasons that I hear people talking about, well, I can't do that. That's not for me. I'm not sure. I'm here to get to the bottom of that. So, like I said, I go live on YouTube every Tuesday. If you want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, I would love that. I want to make sure you don't miss any of my live opportunities, as well as anytime I drop new content. So, all right, let's dive in. I can't tell you how many times people come up to me and say, Amy, being a CFO looks amazing. I love it. CFO and advisory services seem so interesting to me. But I don't know, is that really something that I can do? Is that achievable for someone like me? And the quick answer to that question is absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. I want to talk about why, some of those reasons that people come to me and say, hey, I'm not sure that this is for me, because I want to knock down all of those doubts and all of those feelings of imposter syndrome and show you why this is such a great opportunity for someone just like you. Alrighty, so first of all, what I hear often is, I don't have CFO experience. I'm not an MBA. I don't have a CPA. I'm not an EA. I don't think I'm qualified. Well, here's the thing. Clients don't care if you're qualified. Clients care about one thing and one thing only, and that's results. Can you help them achieve their goal? Can you help them solve their problems? That's what they care about. They care about making sure that you are the person that they want to work with that's going to help them get from point A to point B. That's all. So that is thing one. Keep in mind, when you start out something new, you don't have experience, and that is normal. There are a lot of people out there who are CFOs without being an MBA or a CPA. I'm not a CPA myself. I just happen to have my MBA, but I wouldn't say that that's been super helpful in my career. All clients care about is, can you do it? Think of it like this. You go to a restaurant. You have a chef who's been there for 100 years, who's cooked thousands of dishes. He's probably got pretty good food, right? Of course, yeah. On the other side, you have a cook who's brand new, who went through culinary school, learned from the best. Don't you think their food would probably still be pretty good too? Yeah, exactly. So you want to make sure that you value that you are selling the result, and that is all they need. All right, number two. I hear this sometimes from bookkeepers, sometimes from tax people, but often they refer to it as something that is said to them, which is, I'm just a bookkeeper. You're just a bookkeeper. You're just a tax person. And my response to that is, number one, no, you're not. No, you're not. You are much, much more than that. But secondly, that means you're already halfway there. If you think about what you're doing as a bookkeeper, let's say, you are closing the books, you're reconciling accounts, you are categorizing entries, you are getting those financial statements together in a way that is accurate, that makes sense, you're getting those out timely, and you have the information you need to do a lot of the CFO work that is being asked of you, even if it's not being asked yet. Same with tax. You people who are doing tax returns, you're already advising people on ways to minimize their tax liability. that is halfway to advisory services. So no more than that. You're more than halfway there. And even if you weren't, you're much more than a bookkeeper or a tax person. The other thing that I hear often is, well, I have a full-time job. I have to be focused on that. I have to have a paycheck. And believe you me, I get it. Like, people need to eat. I understand. That said, you can start a business like this as a side hustle. So typically we spend 5 to 15 hours per client per month. So if you take into account your 40-hour-a-week work week, and then let's call it an average of 10 hours a month. So what, 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week? Like, you do not need a lot of time to get started. And you never know. Starting this as a side hustle, I've worked with people who have gotten that side hustle so big that they quit their full-time job, or that their side hustle, they make more at that than at their full-time job. So it's really all about what you want to put into it. You absolutely don't have to walk away from that full-time job and have no security net. Like, we definitely want to have that. All right, this next thing I often hear of is, okay, well, I am a bookkeeper, I do tax prep. Can I do CFO as well? Do I have to abandon all of that to do CFO? And the answer to that is absolutely not. So I have seen so many structures set up. There are some people who do both bookkeeping and CFO. I mean, you kind of think about it, they're the natural fit. The bookkeeper gets the books ready, and then the CFO takes over and does the analysis and planning and all of that. So those two work well together. I've seen it set up that people do bookkeeping and tax and CFO. I've seen it that some people just do CFO. So like, there's a lot of people out there who really like the strategic side of life as opposed to the more transactional bookkeeping work. And so those people just focus on the CFO and they make a killing. So you can offer whatever services you want, whatever floats your boat. All right. Another thing I hear is, well, Amy, I don't want to have a big business. I don't want to manage people. I don't want to have to deal with all of that. And that is fine. If you want to stay a solopreneur, that's fine. Just you and the business doing the work. You can grow big if you want, but you don't have to. You can only have a couple of clients if you want. It's all up to you. It's your business. You can structure it however you want. All right, next. What happens if a client asks me a question that I can't answer? Now, I hear you. This can be a scary proposition. Think about the entire situation, though. Think about right now at your job. If somebody asks you a question that you can't answer, what's your response? You politely say, yeah, you know what? I'll look into that. Let me come back. I'll ask some questions and I'll come back to you with an answer. That's the exact same thing we're going to do here. And the cool thing is that when you are learning CFO services, you are gaining that knowledge and you are used to some of those routine, similar questions that come in. So it's not impossible, but difficult to be thrown off guard, because you just never know when those oddball questions come in. Those oddball questions are fairly rare. A lot of CFO work is similar depending on what industry you're in. I mean, if you think about a budget, the concept of a budget is the same. Doesn't matter if you're in a service industry, if you're selling t-shirts, if you are, excuse me, if you are a restaurant, none of that matters. All that matters is that you go through the exact same process. And that's the exact same thing with questions. You go through the exact same process. When in doubt, You know what? Let me double check for you. I'll come back with an answer. Easy peasy. You do that every day now. All right. Here's a big one that I hear. Amy, I'm an introvert. I cannot sell. And I can't tell you, I feel this one. I couldn't sell a lifeboat on or a life jacket on a sinking boat. I tell you, it is not my gig selling. That said, I'm happy to say that we're not selling. We are having conversations with people who realize that they need help, that they need assistance to get from point A to point B, to reach their goal, to solve their problem. They're there because they want to be. It's not like a must-have in the fact that you're legally required to do it. So like tax work, for example, you're required to have a bookkeeper to do your taxes. This is definitely different. This is work that people want to have. You're not forcing them to give you information. It's nothing like that. We're just having a conversation about how we can help you solve your problem, get to that goal. That's easy. We have conversations every day. We're having a good conversation now. All right. People in my area can't afford it. Well, I've got a couple of answers for that one. When people tell me that, one of two things is happening. First, actually three things are happening. First, they're making an assumption that people in their area can't afford it. Unless we're in somebody's books, we don't know what people are able or unable to do. And we don't know what they are willing to prioritize. So that is the first thing. The second thing is that if the response that they're getting, if you keep hearing, you know what, I can't afford it, I live in a small town, that whole thing, got it. But maybe that means that you're not demonstrating the value. People are not going to say yes if they don't clearly understand what they're going to get for the dollars that they give you. You have to be very, very clear on demonstrating your value. And that's something that we talk a lot about. In fact, we're going to have an episode about that coming up here shortly. The third thing is, there are some times that, maybe you live in rural America. A lot of my family does actually. And there aren't a lot of opportunities. And that's fine because you know what? COVID, for all of the negative it gave us one positive, which is we can work remote. You don't have to stay localized. You don't have to keep yourself pigeonholed in your little community. You can work with people throughout the country. Alaska, Hawaii, New York, LA, the whole 9 yards. So you don't have to limit yourself. So that's a very important point. Another one I hear often is, all right, Amy, I'm not creative. I don't have money to spend on marketing, but I'm not creative. What do I do? How do I get the word out? Well, there are lots of ways to get the word out. There are marketing strategies that require $0. There are marketing strategies that, they cost a little bit, but you don't have to do those. There are a lot to choose from. There are a lot that work. So keep that in mind. And you know what? If you're not creative, I'm probably one of the least creative people on the planet, and that's okay. There's this really cool site called Fiverr, and you can hire someone really inexpensively to do some of that creative work for you. For example, I just recently paid, $55 for 5 Facebook ads, because I can conceptually think about it, but I'm terrible at putting the pen to paper, at finding the design of what is going to resonate with people. $55, that's nothing. That's like just over 10 bucks an ad, 11 bucks an ad. Like, pretty cheap. So you don't have to be creative. There are tons of people out there who are creative. Heck, you might be related to one. My sister's very creative, so I use her a lot. There's lots of answers out there. Now, the final reason that people, just feel like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this is for me. I'm not confident. And here's the thing. Of course you're not confident. This is a brand new skill. You are learning something for the first time. Remember when you were learning how to ride your bike? I don't know about you guys, but my dad was pushing me down this grass hill that had walnuts all over it. And talk about obstacle course. I was scared to death. I was the furthest thing from confident that there is. But you keep at it. You learn. You figure out how the brakes work. You figure out how to steer. Of course you don't know it going in. Just like everything, you'll learn. All of these skills that you need to do to be a CFO, all learnable. All of the skills that you need to do to learn the systems, all learnable. To market and sell your product, again, learnable. If you're not feeling confident right now, that's normal. Don't let that stop you. All right, I don't see any questions in the chat, so let's go ahead and wrap it up there for today. I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. If you're watching the replay, be sure to go ahead and drop your questions, your comments in the comment section, and I'll get them answered for you. If you found this topic really interesting and want to learn more, you'll find the link to my live 3-day Game Changer Challenge in the description below. During that challenge, we talk more about what CFO services are, why you can make so much money doing those. We talk about a tool you can use that does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, how to market, how to sell, pricing, the whole 9 yards. So lots of really great information in there. Some of the marketing strategies that are working for people right now. So if you're interested, check out the link in the description below. Be sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time, next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, and we'll talk more CFO and advisory. Thanks. Bye-bye.